My family and I just took this 2014 Hyundai Santa Fe Limited four-wheel drive up to Lake Tahoe and back. Nice week with the Santa Fe. A lot of fun. I actually test drove this when it was first launched. This is actually a longer version than the one that I test drove. I test drove the Sport, which has just seating for 5. This one actually has a back row seat, which I'll give you a look at in a little bit. Family and I really liked it. It was comfortable, had enough power to get us where we're going, had pretty good gas mileage. We actually averaged above what the sticker says, which is combined mileage of 21 miles to the gallon, so 18 city, 25 highway. Because we were coming downhill after the last refueling, we averaged about 26 miles to the gallon. So this is High Tech Dad, and let's take a look at the 2014 Hyundai Santa Fe. Let's take a look at the engine. This is the V8. It's 3.3 liters. Puts out about 290 horsepower. It's a GDI, which is a gasoline direct injection engine. Had plenty of power for us, and like I said, the gas mileage was pretty good for a vehicle this size, and we were pretty happy with it. I always try to do my reviews from a family perspective, so there were 5 of us that went up with a lot of luggage. You can see some pictures that I've taken with it empty, but we packed it all the way up. So this one has a rear seat, and they're individual seats. You can see one is folded down right now, and there's a rear seat that's upright, and then there are 2 captain's chairs in the middle row, and then obviously the 2 front seats. So some nice things for the family. For one, you have ventilation that's controllable and accessible from the rear, and probably the best one is for the rear passenger here, who has direct control over the climate in the back, so that you can eliminate some of that car sickness. If you're going on roads, you can crank it up in terms of cooling and heating and that sort of thing. This particular version also had heated middle row seats and heated and cooled front seats, and they're all leather, which is kind of nice. Hide some of the spills, especially if you have kids. Always good to have leather. So it's got a automatic rear hatch. There are buttons inside. You can use the key fob to do it as well. For the most part, there's ample storage room, especially if you fold down one or both of the rear seats. It's very easy to do. It's all manual. But once you have both up, there isn't that much space to put all your luggage in. But like I said, it's easy enough to fold it down and fold down both and really load it up. One nice thing it does have is a regular plug here. There is a switch in the front that you have to turn on to make it work, and we weren't able to use our air inflator for our boat because it was a little bit too high on the voltage. But if you get a lower voltage inflator, it works pretty well. Also, just for charging up other things, it's nice to have a regular plug. One nice thing it does have is the blind spot indicators. And if there is a car that is sensed in your blind spot and you turn on your blinker to turn into that lane, you do get an audible alert that lets you know that there is a car in your blind spot. So it's a nice thing to have. So one thing that really wowed our family was the huge, and let me tell you how huge this is, sunroof. It's a panoramic moonroof. It extends almost the full roof line. And this first part opens up as well, so it really makes the cabin feel spacious and sunny, and you can close it all the way up if you want to, but we pretty much left it open most of the time because it made the cabin feel, like I said, very roomy. So like I said, we averaged almost 26 miles to the gallon, and again, this was downhill, but when we were driving normally around, it was about 21 miles to the gallon, which is pretty good for a vehicle of this size. The only glitch that we had at one point was that the touchscreen stopped working, and it was only once. We used the car a lot, and trying to hit the agree or any of the touchscreen didn't work until we fully shut off the car and let it reset. But basically, it's got this really nice touchscreen here with lots of information. You can plug in, stream Bluetooth, USB. There are lots of USB ports throughout the car. You can hook in auxiliary connections as well and hook up your iPod. There's a connection for that. You can stream Bluetooth audio as well. So lots of ways to have music. So there is a satellite radio, which works really well. We weren't without music on our trip, that's for sure. So the Santa Fe is cruise control. It's a regular cruise control. Set your speed and the car will cruise along at that speed. It's got voice recognition. It's got Bluetooth for your phone, that sort of thing. Lots of controls for volume and changing channels and changing sources, that sort of thing. Automatic headlights. Lots of controls for the wipers, of course. There is a button you can press here for Eco Drive, which squeaks out maybe another mile to the gallon when you use it. Slightly reduces the power. One thing that I found very helpful when driving on the roads was through this button. When you push this, it changes the type of steering that you have. So you can have sport, you can have comfort, and you can have normal. So when I was on the roads in the mountains, I found the tighter steering wheel was a lot better for handling curves and that sort of thing. It's got dual climate control, which is nice, so I always like it a little bit cooler than my wife. And then there's, like I said, there's some rear controls for all the way in the back. There's heated and cooled front seats here. You can see the buttons there. There's a parking assist so that you get beeps and audibles when you get too close to something. It's got a rear view camera, as you can see. Shows you how close you are, and it'll give you warnings when you get too close to a vehicle behind you as well. So in the driver's area, you can see it shows range to empty. It gives you your average miles to the gallon, as well as sort of an instantaneous read. You can cycle through different things, so it shows you what's playing. Gives you the navigation if you have that set up as well. And then a bunch of other configurations that you can do for the car. So if you're looking for a pretty loaded, sort of larger SUV, I'd really take a look at the 2014 Santa Fe Limited, especially if you want to have that extra row of seats that I'm talking about. So you could seat 6, and they have other ones where you can, I believe, seat 7. The MSRP on this is about $33,700. We had an extra package installed. It's called the Limited Technology Package. It adds about almost $5,000 to the sticker, which brings the price as tested to about $39,500. But let me tell you, I think the Limited Technology Package is worth it, mainly for the panoramic sunroof. Also gives you larger tires. It gives you the xenon headlights, LED taillights, heated steering wheel. You got memory seats for the front, which is always nice to have if there are a couple of drivers with different sizes that you want to do. Gives you the heated front row seats, and also a nice Infinity Pro Logic surround sound, which is about a 550 watt system. And it gives you that power outlet in the back, which you control by flipping this switch right there. Anyway, so if you want to read more about it, or see some more photos, or read some other reviews, you can head over to my website, and that's at www.hightechdad.com. If you have any questions, you can ask me on Twitter, and I'm at hightechdad. Or if you want, give me a like over at my Facebook page, and that's facebook.com/HTD blog.